Jersey. You know I love that type of joke. That's total. I am your audience.
Like the fireplace, I am on fire today.
We posted this poll, and we wanted to hear from you guys. We know that you have some thoughts about this. Where does Drew Brees rank among the all-time best quarterbacks? And 56% says top 5.
What's that top one?
18%
says left.
Yeah.
That's a goat.
Says goat. Oh, it's the goat emoji. I got it. Look, listen, we don't have our glasses on. All right. So, Reggie, what do you think about this? Because I actually...
You already know what I'm about to say.
I know. I don't even know why I need to tee this up. But when he broke the record in that game, I tweeted out, like, he is the GOAT. Yeah. And I know GOAT is overused, and, like, roll your eyes all you want when you hear it. Yeah. But, yeah, we're going to keep doing it. But what do you think? Do you think he's underappreciated?
I think, yes, I think he's underappreciated because, for one, if we're asking the question, is he part of that GOAT conversation, and yet he has the stats to prove that, and he's going to soon to be part of that 500 TD club, which only 2 or 3 other quarterbacks have done.
3, yeah.
I definitely think he should be considered in that category. I'm okay with the top 5 reference. You know, I think he is definitely top 5, but I also think definitely that the Super Bowl trophies also play a part into it as well, right? It's like the LeBron James and Michael Jordan conversation that people always talk about. Well, one has more rings than the other. So I think Drew is part of the GOAT conversation. Does he need to win one more ring? I think so, yes, as well. But
I'm sure he thinks that, too.
I'm sure he thinks that as well, too, right? But, you know, that's why this game is so humbling, is because it takes everybody around you to help you win that game. When we saw last year when they lost on a last-minute, just kind of a fluke play where, you know, one person, you know, didn't keep his head up and missed the tackle. But again, it's not all on Drew, and I think it's a little unfair for people to not consider him in the top 5 or at least part of that GOAT conversation, because he is.
I think what's underappreciated is the physical part of this and what he's done to overcome the shoulder injury.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just about the surgery itself. It was about how he was going to rehab his way back from that, and he apparently poured himself into that one. I believe he spent several months down in Florida or wherever it was with James. Yeah. Working his way back to get back to full health. Because had he not done that correctly, he never would have gotten to this point. Who knows how far he would have gotten before his career would have been over.
I know for me, it just comes down to rings. I'm sorry, Reggie. It comes down to rings for me. That's why we play this game. This game is the ultimate team sport, right? Yeah. And that's why, you know, you can talk about the Jordan and LeBron thing, but as we all know, basketball, one player can go out there and take over.
Yeah.
You cannot have that happen. That is impossible to happen in football.
Yeah.
Yes, Drew Brees has all the stats. I wish fantasy football was all we were talking about, but we're talking about real football. And to me, real football involves making everybody better, which he does, and winning championships. That's the only reason why we play. I haven't ran across one player yet that said the only reason why I play is for stats, is to build my stats up. Every player, when you walk into that locker room, it's about this commitment to this team. It's about a commitment to a purpose, a higher purpose, on trying to win a championship. It's the hardest thing to do in all of sports, to get 11 guys at one point to do everything together to win a championship. So, yeah. It's not all Drew Brees' fault why he doesn't have all the championships.
Right.
He's had, you know, that fluke play last year. He's had some other opportunities where it just wasn't his fault.
We were one game away.
That's what I'm saying.
2006.
Right.
One game away.
So couldn't stop anybody on the defensive side of the ball that day.
Again, complimentary football. It goes so much into winning championships. So to me, it's going to go down to championships. Tom Brady has a lot of them, and I know he has some help too. But to me, it's all about the championship. It's all about the rings.
That's how you're measured, yeah.
I will say this. Tom Brady's taking discounts on his contract. Drew Brees, especially that one.
Right. Talk about it. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, Tom Brady has said, look, it's about championships. I'll get paid when I get paid. I'll get paid because I got so many championship rings on my finger, as opposed to, no, I got to get all my money right now. You got 2 different schools of thought.
Well, I think that's also pretty.
Yeah, and you keep getting lower.
I keep.
Oh no.
You keep getting.
I was going to say something.
Bye, Garofalo. We'll see you later.
But
Drew
I think
Brees,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think, too, coming from the fact that he was a shorter quarterback, and a lot of people kind of discounted him and what he's been able to do. Even last year, the fact that they brought in that running game, and he didn't have to just throw as much. And
he's a complimentary piece.
Right, so he can do anything that you really want him to do, and then he's going to face the Ravens this week, the only team in the league that he hasn't beat. If he beats them, then he's got all 32 down.
All 32, well, he is
all 32.
Well, I guess you can't beat yourself, so he's beat 31. That's right. Yeah, okay. I'm just fact-checking myself here. That's fine. But the Ravens, of course, 11 sacks last week against Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
And this defense has just been so good, so stout. How do you think that matchup is going to go against Brees?
It's been off the chain, and I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the show how Baltimore does different five-man pressures to get after the quarterback. But you don't want to tip your hand too early with Drew Brees back there, because what's going to happen is Drew Brees is going to see what's happening and then light you up by throwing the ball downfield.
Well, but they do a lot of late adjustments, Baltimore do. We talked about this in our meeting yesterday, where Eric Weddle will be at the line, turn around just as the ball's being snapped to get all the way back to the deep half of the field. It's going to be an interesting chess match between that secondary, Weddle and Tony Jefferson, experienced guys against Drew Brees and Sean Payton. You like that?
They do. I do. But they do have some guys that are hurting in that secondary, too.
Yes.
Are you? No, that's great.
Yeah, well, and it's a difference between quarterbacks as well. Marcus Mariota between Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a master with his footwork in that pocket. And I wouldn't be surprised if, knowing Sean Payton, that he comes out in either up-tempo or the first 10 plays are all passes, but something different to throw at this defense, because you can't just play into what they do, and that's running the football right at them. Obviously, they're ranked top 3 in run defense, and as well as I don't think anybody's thrown a touchdown for him at home.
Not at home. Right? They haven't allowed a passing touchdown.
To beat a bully, what you got to do to beat a bully?
Hit him in the mouth.
You got to hit him in the mouth.
Oh, that's right.
Hit him in the mouth.
Right at him.
That's right.